Hey, Hunnies! Welcome back to Life as a Question Mark podcast here. I'm your host and such a question mark of a person, Heather Donovan. Before I get started, I've already technically recorded this podcast once, except apparently it wasn't recording, so that's okay. Shit happens. So that's how we're starting this freaking episode. You guys thrive for chaotic episodes anyway, so it's fine. Whatever. With that being said, it's meant to be that happened anyway, because, when I was doing the first one that I didn't apparently record, I realized that I was not ready to talk about certain things. Like, I was going to go into how therapy's going and certain things, and give you guys a quick life update, and I just realized I'm not quite ready for that yet, and that is 100% okay. I am growing to accept that. It's fine. See, I'm learning. It's okay. It happens. It was meant to be. I really stumbled anyway. And I guess it was my test run from the universe to pretty much let me feel out what did work, what didn't work for this episode. So here we are, Hunnies. So we're going to go right into the main topic with that being said. This is kind of still trauma dumping, but it's fine. It's not as much as the episode before. But I will open up and share a few things with you. So I originally went back and forth with this topic that I'm going to cover today. I was leaning towards not doing it, but working at a gas station means that on the day of Thanksgiving, you're going to hear Christmas music right on through. And usually it's the same exact 10 songs played all day freaking long. So with that being said, I'm going to share a quick story to give you all a segue into today's topic. When I was substitute teaching last year, around this time, actually I think it was a week before this, I don't know, whatever. So, I was substituting for an 8th grade class. And they go, Miss D, if we're good, could we play Christmas music? And was that an unreasonable request? Here's what I responded back with. I said, you know what, I don't mind, but I got 3 rules. One is you can't play any inappropriate music. 2, you all have to do your work or else the music will go bye-bye. And 3, you all have to be good and have no behaviors or else the music will go bye-bye. And is that fair? And they go, yeah, that's absolutely fair. And what would you know? They actually did a lot of work and stuff because I walked around the classroom a few times. I was watching on their monitors and stuff. They actually were doing work. I gotta give it to them. So they started playing the song. And this song is way overplayed, that I'm gonna say. It can range on the annoying spectrum. However, the song is a bop, and if I age just as well as her and J-Lo and a bunch of other celebrities that are really doing well, then I'm okay with it. So they played All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. As much as it's overplayed, it's a bop, it's a good song. I actually don't mind the song, I like it, but I don't like Christmas music very much, and I'll get into why later. But anyway, they were singing it the very beginning part. Every single time I hear the song, I always think about it, and it makes me sad and miss them, but at the same side of the coin, I know I could never go back to that. And the sad part was, it was never because of my students. It was because, well, I've already covered that in episode 2, why I am leaving substitute teaching, so I'm not going to go over it again. If you guys missed it, you guys could go back and listen to any old episodes at any time. I just wanted to share that fun little story and make it a little segue into today's topic. So like I said, I went back and forth on this subject, and as I was thinking about the story and how it made me feel and everything, I dove kind of deep into my own thoughts, and I was thinking about it, and I realized if there's people like me who don't really like the holidays, then maybe I can make this an episode. So I'm just going to make this a long story short, and I'm really details out. I don't feel comfortable coming out and telling all the details yet. That's a different story for another day when I choose to do it. But I'm just going to give you the gist of my life, and without saying too much, but saying enough where you can comprehend where the story's going. So I have 2 brothers, one that's 2 years older than me, one that's 2 years younger than me. And what would you know? They both have autism. We all know people who have autism, and let me just tell you, they are really severe. They are to the point where they'll never be able to financially take care of themselves, they'll never be able to have a job, they'll never be able to drive, they'll never even be able to live on their own. Well, they can take care of themselves to a point, but it's like they're childlike. They're on a 3-year-old to 8-year-old's level of mentally and emotionally. Even though they look like they're football players, body built wise and height wise, but it really is sad. all my life, holidays have really been high stress anxiety for them. You name it, Thanksgiving, Easter, especially Christmas. And Christmas, we really haven't made a big deal of it. So we're pretty much at the point where Christmas is now where we just open up our presents, we go our own way, and then maybe if we're good, we can have Denny's for lunch/dinner for a big thing. We can't really cook with the boys in the house and all that stuff. We can't really have people over, and we can't really go to other people's houses because they don't accept the boys' autism and they don't understand and that kind of thing. And let me be honest with you, I do get that. Some days I don't even understand the boys' autism, and I've lived with it for all my life. So, I mean, I do get it in a way, but at the same time, some of these people are just awful. They just think the boys are monsters, and I don't... That's a whole entire different topic. I'm not getting into it today. That's just going to put me on a tangent. So, because the boys are so high stress anxiety, we can't really celebrate it, and I just don't have Christmas spirit or holiday spirit, period. So it's like another day for me completely. I mean, that's just how it is. It's not anything bad. I posted in my own personal Instagram and Facebook and the podcast social medias, Instagram and Facebook, a picture of me working at my job saying Happy Thanksgiving from da-da-da-da-da. I'm not saying the name on here. And I'll most likely, well, actually, I already know I'll be working Christmas too. The schedule just came out. And honestly, I volunteered to work Christmas because you know what? I might as well make the extra money, and I'm trying to think of what it is. Halftime? I don't know. It's some kind of additional time added or something. I don't know. But long story short, I will be working on Christmas, and it's fine. It's all great. So with that being said, today's topic is all about helping those, and this is a way to help others. If you can help a loved one with this problem, then hey, done my job. Or even a random stranger. Oh, there's a doggy. Sorry, I'm at a truck stop recording, and I just saw a truck driver have his dog come out of the truck, so I'm sorry. ADHD here. Anyway, so if you can help someone that you love or even just a random stranger get their Christmas spirit or help them feel better or help them through the holidays, then I've 100% done my job and my duties and my goals. All that shit, as Felicia says from Big Brother 25. So that is today's subject. With that being said, let's get started. Everyone has their own personal reasons for why they don't celebrate or have holiday cheer. And some reasonings could be mental health concerns, family drama or other relationship conflicts, career detours, financial difficulties, grief over a loss of a loved one, social anxiety. These are just some of the many examples that are out there. There are so many more. Some things that you do to help somebody is, number one, it's so simple, but yeah, it can mean the world to somebody. And every single example that I tell you guys that you can help somebody with their Christmas cheer and being there for them through the holidays, is basically going to come back to this first example. And that is number one, just showing up. And no, it does not have to be in a huge way. It could be just in the smallest, simplest ways. In some ways, you think that it's so dumb and minuscule, but it could be huge to somebody else and you have no idea. You can send a text message or a handwritten card. You'd be surprised how many people love handwritten cards and letters. I mean, heck, I don't receive hardly any of them, but when I do, oh my gosh, I love them. When somebody just takes the time to sit down and do it, or even if they don't think their writing's good enough or whatever, kind of like me, and they just type it out and they sign their name or something, but they use their own words and it comes from the heart, that's just the best. And that just goes a long way. It just shows that you're thinking of them. Drop off some food, whether it is a meal or a treat. And it doesn't have to be a hot meal. It doesn't have to be a full-on turkey dinner. It can even be a cold dish. It could be a sub, it could be a sandwich, or it could be a treat like cookies or brownies. It could even be a store-bought treat. And really, you'd be surprised. Food is food for the soul. I mean, even when I had my eating disorder, food is medicine, and yeah, I mean, granted, and I don't like when doctors say that food is a problem of, our health. Not necessarily. Food becomes a problem when you don't know how to eat it or how to get your nutrition in, how to eat what's healthy for you, your body type, and everything else. So, I mean, it's just different for everybody, but that's a whole entire different spiel. It's fine. Give them a phone call. Go hang out with them and just do something simple as shoot the breeze or watch a TV show or movie. I mean, heck, I don't have a ton of friends. Well, actually, funny story. I never realized, A, until this podcast came out, or B, until I started working at the place I am working at now, that I actually have more loved ones and more friends than I thought I have. So, I mean, it's something. It's so weird. Even my friends who were my high school friends, we've just grown apart. It's just, back in the day, that would have bothered me, but now I just realize that people just grow and they just go their different ways. Like, I could tell you right now, as a person, I have grown tremendously. And if I went back to, I don't even know, trying to think of an example, 13-year-old me, hell, even 18, 19-year-old me, and said, hey, everything's going to be okay, and you're not going to be in the space. In fact, you're going to be a whole different kind of space, and it's going to be okay. I would not freaking believe him. And even looking back at that old Heather, it is a tremendous difference. So yeah, food for thought there. But anyway, back to my point originally. I got a little sidetracked there. So, even if I'm with a friend, I don't care if we're just sitting there texting or watching our own TikToks or, I don't know, on our own social medias or whatever, watching a movie, watching TV show, whatever it could be. I value quality time. And I think that's one of my love languages. Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure it is. But I love spending quality time with people, even in the most minuscule ways. It's so important to me, and I've never realized that until not too long ago, actually, when I started this self-therapy, and even before I went into therapy. But anyway, that's my point for saying to go hang out with them and to go do something simple, just as watching a movie or just talking to them and just bullcrapping. You guys can even sit on the phones and do your own things, not even say a word, and it'll just mean the world to them. You never know. But the most important thing is to be present and to check in with them on a regular basis. Pay attention to their feelings and needs and give them what they want and need. So many things to tie into this. The first thing is ask them what they need. Do they need space? Like, some people just need space, or they want to be around people, but they just don't want to talk about the problem or talk about why they feel like this for Christmas, or just talk about feelings in general. Some people do need to talk about their feelings, or just a variety of different things. Just ask them what they need. Maybe they need a hug. Maybe they need just a simple text. Even saying hello to them makes a big difference. You don't know. Make sure you ask them what they need and pay attention to how they're feeling. Like, maybe if you notice that you mention a holiday topic, for example, and they start acting a different way, and you start avoiding it, or feel the room first before you ask. If you're going to ask them what's wrong or try to go in deeper to find out what it is, read the room before doing any of that. So my next thing tying into that is watch out for red flags. This time of year around the holidays is a rise in suicide and self-harm rates. I could tell you by how much, but I do know it is. If you get any red flags that they are going to hurt themselves, hurt somebody else, commit suicide, intervene. You need to talk to them, encourage them to get help. Or if you feel like they shouldn't be left alone, then you know what? Obviously, don't leave them alone, and you need to reach out and go get help. I mean, that's all there is to it. Another thing to remember, too, is don't try to fix a problem or fix how they feel. Let them feel their emotions and their feelings. They have a right to, and even if they don't want to, don't try to have them do that. Don't try to force things on them. Let it come to them. Let them pick and choose what they want. Let it be natural. Number 3, do acknowledge his shittiness. So, again, this is one of those situations where you're going to want to read the room. But basically, if they're acting like they don't want to talk about it, or if they do want to talk about it, or whatever else, if you feel like, and you get the energy in the room, and you get to read in the room that it's okay to talk about it, go for it. If not, then let it be. But do acknowledge his shittiness. Do tell them it's okay. Tell them that it is positive to feel how they're feeling. Try to feel how they, well, not feel how they feel, but try to feel how they feel on their level, if that makes sense. Number 4, don't assume your friend will go full on Grinch. Okay, so this is a perfect example. Like me. Everybody will say, especially that they know me as a person, they'll say that I am a Grinch. Not necessarily. I think my problem is that in my personal life, my holiday spirit has just been taken away. And the fact that we don't really celebrate it or do anything with it and it's just a normal day. I think that's just the issue. So, and I think if I was in a relationship or I did something different for Christmas, like if I was in a relationship and I did a tradition with their family and we did special stuff on that day with my partner and I, or even if I did something special on that day all on my own, just made it a special day, it'd be different. But I mean, right now, it is what it is. So, I mean, I'll take it right now that I'm the Grinch, but I know full on I'm not. So, but just because people think of this of me doesn't mean that I want you to think other people like that. I guess that's how I'm trying to get you guys to resonate with it. So, maybe they're just a quote-unquote Grinch in your eyes because they don't celebrate it, and they just think it's a normal day like I do, and just don't have something special to do. That's okay. Just grin and bear it. It's okay. Just don't think of him as a stone hard cold Grinch. It's fine. And don't judge what your friend needs. I mean, that is not cool to begin with. We should not be judging anything on what our loved ones needs. I mean, we all need something uniquely special. Even you do. I mean, there's probably some weird stuff that you need. Just don't judge it. Maybe they need space. Or maybe they need play some heavy-hitting rock music and then, like, bang their head. Like, do that rock banger thing. I don't know. Let them do them. And if they do need their solitude space, that's okay too. And this is my next point. I even need my solitude space. Like after a long day of work or whatever, there'll be some point in the day where I need like an hour or two, whatever, of just space. Where I don't talk to anybody and I just do me for an hour or so. Just do whatever I want to do. I don't work on the podcast if I don't choose to. I don't go on Facebook if I don't choose to. I don't watch a certain show if I don't choose to. Whatever it is. Some people do need that space during Christmas, so be mindful of that. That could be a red flag, but at the same time, if there's no other red flags there that they're going to hurt themselves or others, then let them be. It's normal, trust me. But basically the thing is, the takeaway from this whole entire situation is prioritize small gestures. I don't care how small they are. They could be sending a, hey, how are you text, or can I stop by, or can I bring you coffee? Would you like lunch, or I'm running to the store, can I get you something for groceries? Bringing over a meal, anything. Anything. You have no idea how big of a difference that would make in somebody's life. You have zero idea. So, prioritize the small gestures, because you know what? They can be huge to somebody else. You have zero idea. Absolutely none. Alright, so now we're going to move into some TV talk. The first thing we're going to do is talk about Survivor, and it's the day before the Survivor finale, so honestly, I would try to wait a couple extra days for the finale and the other show to get done, which I will be talking about later, but I couldn't wait any longer to record. I'm recording on a Tuesday, and this is supposed to be out on a Thursday, so yeah. Kind of had a lot more going on than planned for the last couple weeks. It's fine. We're doing great. So in Survivor, I did not even think that there was such thing as being safe as shot in the dark. Because they started season 40, if I'm correct, and we're in season 45. So for 5 seasons, we haven't seen anybody get safety from the shot in the dark. And what would you know? Caleb was on way to get his torch snuffed, and he just got safety, and it just made history. They were ready to vote him off, and he saved himself. But it's okay, they voted him off the next week, so he just saved himself another week, and he got himself on a jury. So, I mean, there's that. Better than what I could probably do, it's fine. I'd be evicted. Well, I'd be voting myself off day one, so I mean, it's fine. But that would be TV gold for all of you guys, though, so. Oh, and how Julie got to pick who was voted off when she played that idol. I'm mad that she voted Emily off. I really liked Emily. I don't know what it was about her. I liked her energy. I liked seeing her grow in this game. And I thought she was a good game player. But I thought that was a great move. And then how they kicked Drew right out. And it was Julie and, I can't think of that other guy. He has a Boston accent. You know who he reminds me of? I can't think of his name right now. I'm going to have to look it up. But he reminds me of Seth MacFarlane when he did the voice of Ted. So if you watch Survivor, when you watch the finale or whatever, you listen for his voice. Actually, I'm going to look that up right now. So I'm going to keep talking. So you're going to listen for his voice. And you're going to be like, holy shit, Heather's right. Yeah, we are in Survivor 45. How nice is that? Yep, I want to see the cast photos. Because I'm going to know. I think his name's Brian. We're going to find out here in 2 seconds. Jake. His name's Jake. Jake O'Kane. Okay, so he has the voice of Ted. So you need to listen for that. He has that Boston accent. You're welcome for pointing that out. But you know, it's pretty bad when Survivor got bad, and when Survivor just started playing Survivor in the last 2 or 3 weeks of Survivor. Like, what the hell? If I wasn't committed to watching Survivor, then honestly, I would not be watching it. I don't know, it's just a boring season. It's just too bad they couldn't have done the gameplay earlier, and they all just were a sucky cast. But I mean, what you gonna do? Production's just off. But production wasn't off on The Amazing Race. Segue change. So I love how they went back to their old roots about time, because thanks to COVID, you took that away, Hunnies. So I love how they're back to fighting for airplane tickets and getting a seat on the airplanes and getting early airplane times and all that stuff. I miss that. But it used to be more intense in the past episodes, so that's what I miss. And they had a blind U-turn, and I have a theory. And tell me if I'm wrong with this theory. I want one person to tell me I'm wrong. I think that Annalise and her father, I think it was Steve. I'm bad with names, whatever. I think he was a Steve. But anyway, I think that if Annalise and her father wasn't U-turned in that blind U-turn, then they would have been easily in the top 3. But once they were U-turned, it was like they gave up. They just got the end of the pack and they just started fighting with each other. It just looked to me like they gave up. They just no longer had that winning momentum just because they had that one hiccup, which really sucks because they were a good team. And that scramble on the finale, such a good twist. Because how would you know where the rest of the teams were? I mean, and they looked like they were decently far away, so they really didn't have too much way of telling, but also, how did the bearded brothers get in the final 3? Well, I understand now, but if you asked me in the beginning of the season if I thought they would make the final 3, I'd say absolutely not, because they were one of the weaker teams. But they really showed up in like the last couple. And I understand why they made the final 3, especially when they did that preview or the flashbacks, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, I get it now. You go, bros. But I'm disappointed how Rob and Corey got 3rd place and didn't win. I really want them to win. I love their energy. They had a great strategies going in. They didn't win at 1st place. They won 1, actually, but they were decently high up there or in the middle, so. I mean, I just think that they had really good competition against them with those other 2 guy teams, but they were definitely my favorite of the season. I loved them. They had good energy. They seemed like great personalities. That just made me sad. But the brothers who won, Greg and Josh, this is my other theory. I do not think that they would have won the Amazing Race. Maybe. I don't know. I think they would have been in the running with Annalise and Steve, whoever Steve is. That could be the right name. I don't know. Maybe his name's Peter. I can't remember. Anyway, I don't know if they would have won if the blind U-turn didn't turn around Steve and Annalise, because ever since that blind U-turn happened, they started getting 1st places like nobody's business. So that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And the last one I'm going to talk about tonight is the Big Brother Reindeer Games. And let me tell you, oh my God. First off, much better in season 25. So this is a lot better season. I guarantee you that it's going to be either finale the day they post this or it's going to be on Friday. I don't know which one. Like I said before, if I could have waited a couple more days to record this, then, I could have, but then with editing and stuff, I would have really kind of been screwing you guys and not making my date as promised, so it's fine. Whatever. My bad. Well, not my bad, but you know what I mean. Let me tell you, this is, in my opinion, the Big Brother All-Star Season 2 that we should have gotten. This cast is stacked. They are so smart. Like, let me give you a couple examples. So, when the Misfit group, and this group was Brittany, Josh, Danielle, and Taylor, they chose to save Nicole and send the other 3 into Santa's Showdown. And you know what? Danielle, Taylor, and Josh were in the alliance with Xavier, so they could have easily saved Xavier and sent Nicole out to the wolves, which I don't know if she would have went home. Because I feel like she would have been good at mental comps, but her anxiety, which I do get, it might have gotten her, but I thought that was great gameplay, and I'm really impressed. And I am shocked, speaking of that, how Frankie sat home Cody. Who would have thunk with a competition such as Cody Calafieri? I mean, really. But to be honest though, I like Cody and all, but to be honest, I really didn't want to see him win again. Because I know he's a competition beast. I expect that and stuff already from him. It would have been one of those predictable seasons, like predicting that Xavier was going to win. Big Brother 23. It would have been one of those, hands down. So, I mean, I'm glad we got him out, so that was cool. I forgot how much of a competition beast Frankie was. Like, I remember now that watching the season, I'm like, oh yeah, he did win all those competitions. He just got at the end. And then on the wheel challenge, where Brittany had to pick somebody else to go next for Santa's Showdown, where she was supposed to say Taylor's name, but she chose Danielle's because she knew she was talking all this crap with multiple alliances. I'm sorry, but lately the other seasons would not have the balls to do that. And I am here for it. And I am here for Brittany Godwin. And I know her as Brittany Hayes from Big Brother 12. So if I don't talk about her and say Brittany Hayes, I'm going to apologize in advance. My bad. But I'm telling you, I don't follow many celebrities or even have too many celebrities I like or even singers, any of that stuff. But you get the picture. But if I was to meet one celebrity, she'd be one of my top ones. 100%. her DRs are to die for. And I saw something on Instagram. I think it was Dan Gingsley's or something. He said, we just got 10, 20 more memes from Brittany Godwin on the first episode. But she is just right. And I live off of a Brittany moment. Tells it how it is, and she is so funny doing it. So relatable, and she says what everybody else thinks. That's great. And I do want to share this one more thing before I go on to the very last next thing of the podcast. So, on the first episode, they had to guess a song, like what Santa's DJ wanted to play for a Christmas song. And I got it within a few minutes when the second clue came up. And then when the third one came up, I'm like, okay, I know it's Up on the Rooftop. But I was screaming, up on the fucking rooftop! Up on the rooftop! Up on the fucking rooftop! At the TV, and then like when Brittany Godwin was on Santa's Showdown, and I was really freaking out because I really was worried she was going home. I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, no, come on, you can do it, come on! And I was literally screaming at the TV both times. And my mom, like, during the wheel one, I came out to use the bathroom or something between commercials. My mom goes, what the hell are you watching, Heather? I go, I'm watching the Big Brother reindeer game. She goes, what? What's that? I told her, she goes, oh, I didn't know there was such a thing. So I gotta go back and watch with her someday when I get a chance to see her. But lately I've been so busy and everywhere that, I just visit home or wherever I'm staying once in a while. So once in a while I'll see her in passing every couple weeks or so. Or sometimes I'll say, see you in a month, just as a joke and stuff, but sometimes I'll show her that. She'll like it. But yeah. So I have a couple of predictions actually before we go on. Because I forgot I have to put my predictions in. My 2 cents. Also, before I do my predictions, I forgot to mention that I predicted and I almost made a quick episode making my predictions on who was going to make the reindeer games. The day before they came out, I made my prediction that it was going to be Frankie, Brittany, and Danielle on it. So I'm like, well, it only makes sense because they were in the advertisements. It's possible that Brittany's not because she has kids, but I had that smidge of a doubt, but I did predict it right. So, here's my predictions for the reindeer games. For the final 4, I think we're definitely going to see Brittany and Frankie at the end. We're probably going to see a Frankie win, which honestly, I'm okay with. I'm not against it. If he wins, frankly, I think he deserves it. I love you, Brittany, but I think Frankie deserves it. And honestly, I'm okay if Brittany wins it too. Even more props to her. For third and fourth person, I don't know. I think Nicole might make it in there, just because she might get carried. If not, she'll bring herself. I don't know. But most likely she'll be carried. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Not always a bad thing when I say that they're being carried. Most of the time it is, but this case is really not. And then for last place, I really stopped on this one. Because thinking about it, I was confident that Taylor would be the fourth one, but I don't know after seeing Monday night's episode, which it came out on December 18th. I think she showed her cards with her alliance that she's working with multiple alliances. People are going to be looking at her and she's going to be a target. But the thing is, I don't know if she's going to be a target before Xavier. And I think Xavier has potential to win a Santa Showdown or even a competition. So I don't know. So it's interchangeable between Taylor and Xavier, but I'm going to give it to Taylor. So for the final 4, I'm going to call it. I think it's going to be Frankie, Brittany, Nicole, and Taylor. But I think it's going to be Frankie for the win either way. I'm locked in on that. So I guess we'll see. For my final segment, this is going to be brand new, by the way. I am going to end every podcast with one tarot card reading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up the deck really good, flop cards around and all that stuff. And then when I'm ready, I am going to start moving the cards around, kind of like I'm moving one to the back of the deck. Like I'm going to move one in the back of the deck at a time until one just falls out. It'll tell you a little glimpse of your guys' future or what may be to come. And keep in mind, I'm just a beginner tarot card reader. I'm just learning. I've taken an interest in learning tarot cards. So bear with me first off. And secondly, this is a general reading. So only take what resonates with you and anything else, let it be. And no, it's not all for you. And this is no way predicting your whole entire future, and you should not live your life based around this. So what I will be doing is I will be tapping into my inner spirit guides, and I'm going to be asking my spirit guides to do that. Before I mix it up and after I mix it up, I'm going to ask you what it sees for you guys. And I'm going to tell you what the card is. I'm going to tell you what the meaning card is. And I'm going to tell you guys what my spirit guides are telling me what to perceive it as or what it means or what it's believed to be mean or, you know what I mean. Words are hard. Like I said, my brain shut off earlier, so I'm surprised it lasted this long, so it's fine. Alright, let's get started. I hear a little bit ASMR. Bear with me as I deal with the process. Alright, spirit guides. What are my listeners and supporters seeing in the future? What is going on? we got spirit guides. There's two of them, though. We're looking for one, Hunnies. Alright, we got one. Alright, we got the Justice card upright. And the Justice keywords is justice, fairness, truth, cause and effect, and law. The Justice card represents justice, fairness, truth, and the law. You are being called to account for your actions and will be judged accordingly. If you have acted in alignment with your higher self and for the greater good of others, you have nothing to worry about. However, if you haven't, you will be called out and made to own up to your actions. This has you shaking in your boots. Know that the Justice card isn't as black as white as you think. A level of compassion, understanding, accompanying justice. Although you may have done something you regret, this card suggests that you'll be treated fairly without bias. Be ready to take accountability for your actions and stand accountable for the ensuing consequences. The Justice card is a positive sign that will indeed be served. You may be part of a legal case or awaiting final judgments from the courts or a governing body or institution. A ruling will be passed down shortly. Once the decision is made, you must accept it and move on. There are no retrials or second chances with the upright Justice card. The Justice card often appears when you need to make an important choice with the potential for long-term repercussions. Be aware of the impact your decisions will have on your well-being and the well-being of others. Choose consciously by connecting with your inner guidance system or your intuition, and by asking for the answer that is most in alignment with the highest good of all. Be ready to stand by your decisions as you will be held to account for the choices you will make. You need to ask yourself, do I stand by decisions and accept the consequences of my actions? If you cannot, then dig deeper. Plunge into the shadows of what is right and wrong, until you find the place where you can stand in integrity and strength. At its core, justice is about the search for truth. As you explore the truth, you will discover things are not as clear-cut as you thought. Be prepared to dip into the murky waters where the truth meets you. Be consciously aware of what you believe to be true and what you believe to be fair and ethical. It may not be as clear-cut as you think, so prepare to challenge yourself and to explore new territories of the belief system. So with that being said, the spirit guides are telling me that there will be justice being served, but it won't be in a legal courtroom or anything legal-wise. You will get in a confrontation with somebody, probably a friend or a loved one. I'd say most likely a friend. You will see the consequences of your actions, so maybe you'll do something good or bad. But I feel like it will be most likely neutral, like you have a hand in something but good points to it, I guess. If that makes sense, I hope it does. But when the outcomes comes back, you will receive truth in whether the situation at hand will make you lose a friendship, whether your friendship will stay at a stalemate, or whether your friendship will increase with its benefits. I cannot tell you whether it's good or bad. I feel like it's neutral. So you'll receive judgment, but I feel like there won't be a conflict after the judgment is done. So long story short, you'll probably be in a conflict with a friend of yours, and you will receive judgment, and I feel like it'll be a mutual thing, like you both will agree that you both have done wrong. It'll take some time, it won't be done in one day. Maybe I see about 3 to 5 days of having this conflict go on. Then you guys will be neutral, and you guys will be back to your old ways. And that is what the Spirit Guides is telling me. So, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and tell your favorite stranger about the podcast. You can follow and converse with the podcast and other listeners of the podcast by following the podcast social media pages. The Facebook page is Life as a Question Mark Podcast. The Instagram and TikTok pages are Life as a Question Mark Pod. I really do love hearing from you all, especially on all your feedback about the pod. It really helps the podcast become better and grow. I really like to hear and know what you guys like, what you guys don't like, what you guys want to hear about, what maybe you guys aren't feeling. Let me know. Your feedback does matter, I promise. You can also follow myself on my personal Instagram and TikTok at Miss D's World 2022. Hi, car. I'm almost done. Could you tell I did that whole entire thing in the car? You can also follow the link tree to everything in all the social media pages, bios I've just mentioned above. This is also where you can locate the podcast website and Patreon, which, by the way, I am doing weekly tarot card readings on Patreon sometime every Sunday morning. And instead of one card being pulled, I pulled 3 and go into a deeper reading and all that good stuff. But it's only for subscribers only, and it's $7 a month. And it's just, hey, what do you know? It's another way to support the podcast. So, especially for you guys, listeners and supporters. So head right over there if you would like to know your weekly readings for your tarot cards, $7 a month. Not only do you get readings on your futures and predictions, you also support the podcast at the same time. It's a double whammy. Which brings me up to my next point. You can also show your love and support to the podcast by donating to the pod. You can donate by clicking the support link in the show notes that's in every episode. It's in the show notes for every episode if you're listening on a podcast streaming network or app network, whatever. If you're on YouTube, the link tree is right in the bio. It's somewhere in my YouTube if you are listening to the video version. You can also subscribe to the pod on the podcast website, or you can hit the payment button in the link tree. When you make a donation, no matter how big or small it may be, I will give you a shout out on an episode of the podcast. But if you're not into shout outs though, then it's okay. I promise I got you. I could give someone a message on an episode of the podcast for you instead. I could do messages such as proposals, wedding proposals, give someone the bad news that you want a divorce, or let somebody know that you want a restraining order. I don't judge. You do you, honeys. Or I could just tell someone to pick up their goddamn clothes off the floor because you're sick of looking and tripping over their goddamn laundry. No matter what you choose though, it'll be personal for you as a very, very small thank you for helping the podcast become better and grow. Please make all donations for family or friends though. All donations will go 100% towards podcast only. For example, it could go towards paying the subscription cost for either using the program that I edit all the podcast on, or towards a website subscription if I need any new or extra equipment for the pod, or it could go towards any traveling expenses to go interview a guest to be on the podcast. You never know. Maybe one day I'll get one of those heavy hitters. Hasn't happened yet, but who knows? You never know. For this episode, I am leaving you a random word of the episode. So the random word of the episode is apple. So I will talk to you all around January 4th of 2024 and talk to you all next year.